Alright, so welcome back to my channel Idle Wisdom. In this video I'm going to try to do something a little bit different. This is kind of just an informal discussion video set here in Skyrim in what I'm going to tentatively thinking about calling, I don't know, a ride through the countryside, where we discuss, various topics that are of interest in a shorter, more focused on the conversation or the topic at hand format, rather than just discussing things that they happen to randomly come up in the course of a Let's Play video. So, what I think we're going to do first is we are going to acquire a ride by running through here. Oh, you guys don't need this horse, do you? You thieves? Woohoo! Yeah, I'll get lost even better. Alright, woohoo! Yeah! Alright, so let's actually get lost for reals. Alright, now that we have our ride, and this is off, that smuggler's cave near Whiterun. A good place to get yourself a free horse for, one-time use. I mean, you can use it again, but every time you let it go, it runs back. It runs away like any stolen horse, but I often use this in the early game when I don't have a horse as a kind of a means of fast travel. Look at that. I just love the scenery in Skyrim. There's a little mod here that puts the alpine forest, the alpine trees. But anyways, let's actually go take a ride. Get back to the road so I can actually focus on what I'm saying rather than just on gameplay. So the topic for this video, as you probably saw on the description, is
keep an eye out for trouble.
Oh, okay. It's only a matter of time? Alright, pal. My topic for today is the difference between Metroidvanias and Metroid-likes. Or rather, are all... Uh-oh, looks like there's some fighting going on. Oh, those... Civil War never changes. Or... Oh no, that's not Civil War. That is some witches. Hopefully those soldiers take them out. But anyways, the difference between Metroidvanias and Metroid-likes. Is there a difference? And if so, what? Oh man, there's going to be more people in the mix. What difference is there if that distinction does hold up? I've been thinking about this because I've been, I play through the occasional Metroidvania, or what's called a Metroidvania, on my channel every now and again. Right now I'm playing through, what's that game? Axiom Verge 2. And I was like watching a bunch of videos of various Metroid games, and that got me thinking. I've seen some discussion on this before, but it's never very conclusive nor very systematic. Is there a difference between a game made a Metroid-like and a Metroidvania in general? Or is it just one category is sufficient and there's enough wiggle room for a largely different set of games, like games with a different... Is it a loose term or is it a tight term? If you like, with conceptual containment, is it light? Is it narrow or broad? Man, this, the Prettier Roads mod makes for some nice scenery. And this game has great scenery as it is. I played unmodded Skyrim on PS3 for years. Played through the whole game. Beat the game, all the DLC twice on PS3, so I definitely appreciate the game for what it is. But, mods extend the life. But yeah, so what makes a Metroidvania a Metroidvania?
Over here.
I would say, first of all, every game that's called a Metroidvania, let's do some zigzagging, is going to be a side-scrolling platformer. So it's a side-scrolling game to begin with. There are no 3D Metroidvanias, I would say. Ooh, a bear. I mean, maybe there are some games that are called Metroidvanias that are 3D, but I don't think that's a Metroidvania. I don't think that... I think everyone would agree that a Metroidvania cannot be in 3D. They have to be in 2D. side-scrolling. They're 2D side-scrollers. Oh, geez. Sorry, chaps. Let's get out of here. My gosh. Oh, geez. Man. I think you're looking at him. Or we'll get a mirror and you'd be looking at him. But yeah, so every Metroidvania is a side-scrolling 2D game. On top of that, they're platformer games. I think that's probably correct. Is there such a thing as a Metroidvania that's not a platformer? I don't think so. And on top of that, they're an action game. The Metroidvanias aren't like turn-based games. So if you take as the basis of our description, 2D action platformer, then we have a pretty good sense of what makes the basic framework of a Metroidvania. But that's not sufficient because not every 2D action platformer is a Metroidvania. You know, like, was it Shinobi or Ninja Gaiden or Bionic Commando, Ninja Turtles or whatever, the old one on NES. Those aren't Metroidvanias. It's a cool bridge. There's a really cool bridge mod on PS4, available for PS4, that makes all the bridges look really, really cool. But, so we need to get tighten it up again, so that we are, Falmore, gross. We're just talking about the Metroidvania. So, how about, so that if it's 2D, action, side-scrolling platformer, in which you have, I would say, increasable life, that your life can be, your health, or your life can be increased. Not today. Oh man, witches everywhere. Someone needs to do something with all these witches. Not us though. We're just out for a ride. And so, I think every Metroidvania has like a life bar or a life pool that you can increase as you get stronger. That it's not simply a matter of getting better at the game, like most action games are. Like, you know, Ninja Gaiden. You just need to get good if you don't want to die. Man, ow, right in his buttock. Oh, jeez, wow. Let's get out of the way of this fight. And so, that is a big difference, because if you look at like Metroid, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, or any of these games, you have like, either you can get health tanks, energy tanks, or increased hit points. And that allows you, you know, by one means or another, and that allows you to be more survivable. That does sound pretty pleasant, I will not lie. Oh wow, look at that. That's cool. Huh. Man. I don't think the foundation was very solid. And he built his house on the rock, too. Oh well. I guess not all rocks are equal. But anyways, yeah, so. But then, is that sufficient to get you a Metroidvania? Oh wow, look at this. Dragon Bridge. Is this Dragon Bridge? No, this isn't Dragon Bridge. This is some other bridge. Wow, that is really tight. And I noticed that some games that are called Metroidvanias use a level system. Woohoo! Yeah! Too slow. Never should have come here. Oh, watch out there, boys. There's some nutcases back there. Oh, well, whatever. Hope you get freaking gutted by Forsworn. Well, I don't really hope, but they probably will. dude. Be careful up there. But yeah, so if you take like Symphony of the Night, for instance, it has increased hit points, and you increase your hit points, your life pool, by gaining levels, just like in a JRPG, or in a, an RPG generally, but a JRPG in particular. On the other hand, if you look at like say Super Metroid, or any of the Metroid games, you increase your hit points. Ooh, Thalmor.
You're interfering with official
Thalmor business. I have a.
This is a surprise.
Oh well. Have fun with the Thalmor, gents. Good luck to you. But yeah, so in how would I say, in Metroidvania, in Metroid, Super Metroid, and what have you, you increase your life in the world, like health upgrades, energy tanks, if you like. It's very much similar to like Legend of Zelda, right? Where you find heart containers. Woohoo! Yeah, can't catch me. Come on, horsey. But yeah, so where you find heart containers in the world in Legend of Zelda, and that's how you increase your life. Whereas Legend and Castlevania, it's just you kill enough enemies, you get enough experience points, and then you get a level, and that gives you increases to your stats, including your oh, there's a dog and a wolf facing off. Huh, interesting. So I don't know, is that difference significant? I have to say, if you look at I play on my channel, I've played Chasm. This is like a watch posts, waypoints, pivotal areas. It's a cool mod. Like this one's guarding Dragon Bridge. Really cool, right? Oh, look at that Imperial camp. That is so tight. Kind of makes it look like there's a civil war actually going on. There's some really cool mods that are even available on PS4. The least modded version of Skyrim, or moddable, I guess. This is a modded version of this town as well. But yeah, so Castlevania Symphony of the Night is much more like, say, your typical JRPG, and it's the mechanics it uses to level up. Uh-oh. Whereas, the Thalmor and the... Sorry, gents. I'm busy doing important stuff right now. But yeah, so Symphony of the Night and games like it are much more... They use the mechanics of a JRPG to increase your strength, primarily. Whereas Super Metroid uses a system much more like a action-adventure game, if you like, kind of like Legend of Zelda, where you find things out in there, just in the wild, in your adventures, the items and upgrades. You never actually level up, and so you could kill an infinite number of enemies and you would never be any stronger. You would just probably be better at playing the game. Ooh, man, it's cold here. Uh-oh. Poor guy. We should probably be careful being out here. Can't catch me, can't catch me. They're like, oh, we're so hungry though. More Thalmor. But anyways, yeah, so another difference between another distinctive thing in I think Castle and Metroidvanias, before I should have said before, is that you can upgrade your equipment. This seems to be the case. Oh geez. I think they defeated those Imperials, but those Thalmor are gonna kill them, I betcha. You can upgrade your equipment, your weapons, your armor, your what have you. You're not stuck with just with the same weapon all the time. And oftentimes... But I would say in Metroid, these weapon upgrades are usually sort of cumulative, or they build upon each other. You don't... There's like a set number of weapons. Here's the such and such beam. There's the wave beam. Here's the particle beam. Here's the flame beam. Here's the freeze beam, or whatever the case. And the hyper beam. Eventually, once you get the hyper beam, you just don't even use the other beams. Whereas in cool, Snow Fox. In Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you would continuously get new different weapons, and there may be some that you always wind up getting, but frequently you could get different sets of weapons every playthrough, and you could have a playthrough that you used just long swords, or a playthrough where you used only knives, or one where you use like brass knuckles, or one-handed swords, or goodness knows what, given whatever weapons that the game allows you. Special items. You wouldn't need to have like, a freeze beam or a wave beam, which you do in Move Along. Oh yeah. Man, you guys are unpleasant. This is cool. Man, Solitude. I don't always play around in it. When I sort of just play around in Skyrim, I don't usually come here, but I forget what a cool area this is. Uh-oh. I need to not get off the main road. Don't want to get lost in... Here we are. I guess this is going to take us back to Dragon Bridge. That's fine. We'll go a different direction from there. But yeah, so... Is it important for a Metroidvania? Is that important? Like the weapons, the way you pick up the weapons?
Ain't this a surprise?
Ain't this a surprise? Is that an important item? I mean, issue. It seems like games that are more like Super Metroid, which I would be tempted to call Metroid-likes. You find health as an item in the world. You don't level up from killing anything at all, or at all. And you, so much for that. Wait, I'm moving, jeez. I think those bandits or those witches got killed. But anyways, yeah. Oh, watch out, kid. Sorry, excuse me. They're like, slow down there, Speed Racer. Jeez. So yeah, so a Metroid-like, you find health in the world, you upgrade by means of things you find, you don't get levels, and your equipment is usually part of the story itself, like charge beam, ice beam, whatever the case, freeze beam, wave beam, and it's necessary for the progression. Each weapon is necessary for some part of the progression through the map. Whereas in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, on the contrary, you find weapons just more randomly, and you don't need any particular weapon in order to advance through the game typically. You gain more life and strength largely through leveling up by killing enemies, and I mean, you could have it even by doing quests if your game so included, but it's more like an RPG. And yeah, so the weapons aren't part of the story, the unlocking the map, and you level up like in a RPG. So already there's two things that are quite different. I noticed that Metroidvanias, loosely speaking, that take after Super Metroid are not really like JRPGs at all, with a couple of loose exceptions. The fact that you can equip gear, you can change your gear, and you have a menu, but very, very basic things. Whereas games like Symphony of the Night basically are You might be able to say they are action. Games like Symphony of the Night, in a way, are side-scrolling action RPGs. And that wouldn't be too reductive. Ah, holy crap, that startled me. Good camouflage, bear. Let's run, horse. Run, run, like our lives depend on it, because they do. Man, you never know what you're going to find out here. Jeez. But yeah, so that with all that being said, here's some questions I would have. One is Super Metroid a Metroidvania? I mean, that might sound silly. You're like, well, obviously it's a Metroidvania. It's like the basis of basis of Metroidvanias. And I would say, yeah, that's. Uh oh. I don't know who you were talking to, but. Or is the first Metroidvania Super Metroid, or is the first Metroidvania Symphony of the Night? My guess is the first Metroidvania is Symphony of the Night, because it was a Castlevania game done using, oh wow, Super Metroid as it, using Super Metroid type mechanics. Find stuff from Metroidvania, from Castlevania, along with kind of the explorable map and unlockable, item and the explorable, unlockable through upgrades map. Oh man, gents.
None of your concerns,
Citizen. I don't know where the hell I am. Oh wow, I went the wrong way. I was thinking I was going a different direction. And we're gonna die of exposure if we don't get the heck out of here. But yeah, I would say the first Metroid, oh, there's a little Imperial camp. Cool. First Metroidvania is Symphony of the Night, and that the Metroid games typically are not Metroidvanias, but rather they're just Metroid games. And because they are not that combination of Super Metroid style exploration and side-scrolling action and map unlocking through, abilities rather than just through completing levels, like, like say old side-scrolling games like Ninja Gaiden. And so it takes that, plus it adds the I am cold. Let us see if we can get the heck out of here before we freeze to death. Yay, freeze to death. Woohoo, yeah. Gonna freeze to death. Woohoo. Yeah, let's have some food if I have any. Cooked beef, yeah, cooked beef. Some wine. Don't drink and drive in real life, children. Don't drink and ride either. It's not smart. Oh wow, this place looks like it's seen better days. We need to get out of the cold, cold, cold. This is Skyrim and it is cold. Generally everywhere. But yeah, so. Uh-oh. I'm going, jeez. There's a guard patrolling the roads. Should it be good? But yeah, so I think that a Metroidvania has to combine both those elements from... Jeez Louise. From Super Metroid, like I was saying, with those JRPG or RPG elements as well. That is, get the achieving strength through leveling up and Is it mainly that? I would say it's probably mainly that. Thus, I don't know, I seem to have forgotten what I was saying on... Ah, dang it. That's probably the main... Oh, geez. That spider got us. Oh, our horse might die. The poison is in... I'm using a mod that makes the poison really, really nasty, even just from frostbite spiders. So our horse might kick the bucket, unfortunately. Which is unfortunate as all heck. It'll end our ride. But yeah, so from this point of view, I would say a game like Axiom Verge, which is made in the style of Metroid, and it does not have leveling up mechanics, as does Symphony of the Night, and its weapons are, I don't know, its weapons I think are mainly used for the, no, its weapons are just whatever. I think it's mainly the, it has a variety, it's kind of in between Symphony of the Night and what's it called, Metroid. But the main thing, you level up, you don't level up, you increase your strength by finding power-ups in the world. And I think that really is at the heart of what makes a Metroidvania a Metroidvania. I mean, Metroid-like. A Metroid-like. I don't know where I am. There's a bandit camp here. Ay, ay, ay. So, jeez. I would say, if we compare Chasm, that I have a Let's Play for, with Axiom Verge, I would definitely say that Chasm is... I'm going, dude. I'm going. We're leaving. Chasm is a Metroidvania. It has all those things you would come to expect from a game made along the lines of Symphony of the Night. Whereas Axiom Verge is basically a Metroid-like. Now, basically, Axiom Verge is not a RPG. It's not an action RPG, side-scrolling or otherwise. Chasm is. Now the question could be, it could be the case that every Metroidvania is a Metroid-like, but not all Metroid-likes are Metroidvanias. Thus, that being Metroidvania is a subset of Metroid-likes. And I would be willing to accept that as possibly the case. But on the other hand, it might be worth distinguishing them further, because it really does seem essential to the Metroidvania. Well, no, that wouldn't even work. No, that would still work. I don't know. I think I would... Oh, jeez Louise, bear. Leave me alone. I didn't do anything to you. Maybe I startled the bear. Sorry. Sorry for startling you. I would say that a Metroidvania is, in essence, an action RPG. And so any quote-unquote Metroidvania that... Oh, geez, what are you doing here, pal? You guys, Oh my goodness, that is not smart. Good luck, y'all. I think you have bigger fish to fry over there. Am I a disgrace to my own kind? Maybe he was saying that to the giant, which I'm sure he's going to be repenting for the remaining 2 seconds of his life. But yes, so I would say at the end of this rambling, roaming discussion, literally and figuratively, that a Metroidvania is a subset genre of JRPG or action RPG, if you like, in the kind of in the style of or in the vein of a Metroid-like. It takes elements of Metroid or a Super Metroid and puts those into in conjunction with a JRPG, you know, format. So I would say, therefore, Axiom Verge, Super Metroid, any game in which you don't gain levels and you don't level up, that you increase, anything you get is more in the way that, say, Legend of Zelda did it. Because in a way, Metroid is kind of like a 2D action platform version of Legend of Zelda, if you want to put it that in. As it's kind of like, you know, but with that, the map, plus that sort of explorable, unlockable map. So, I don't know, there we have it. I don't know, that was kind of rambly and all over the place, but I was kind of thinking out loud as I was doing it. So, I've come to my conclusion that, no, there is actually a pretty significant difference between a Metroidvania and a Metroid-like. There are obviously big similarities. They have the shared Metroid DNA, but a Metroid-like is an action-adventure game. A side-scrolling... a Metroid-like is an action-adventure game, whereas a Metroidvania is an action role-playing game. So, alright. I'm sure a lot of people would not agree with that. Maybe some people would. Maybe some people could bring out some clarity that some distinctions I've missed or overlooked. It's always interesting. These are not very serious. I just like to think things through out loud. And I figured riding a horse through the countryside of Skyrim would be a fun way to do it. So, take care, y'all. And I gotta... Oh, this poor horse. Maybe it's... Oh, no, it's right there. Man, he's really brave about that arrow in his face. Maybe it hit the bone. So, take care, y'all.